just take 6 of this, and every time I press, a thought comes in my mind. Does the world need another podcast? Truth is, I don't know, and that's not my problem. All I have to do is record and put it out there, and if 12 people listen to it, that's a big enough crowd for me. Hi everyone, my name is Luyama Nawa, and welcome to the Stop It Luyama podcast.
Stop it, Luyama.
Introductions are very important, so I'll introduce myself. As I said, my name is Luyama Nawa. Thank you for being here. I'm 20 years old. I live in Gaborone, and that's all I know that people would want to know about me at the moment. I think maybe a bigger question would be, why is this podcast called Stop It Luyama? Well, let me tell you why, and why my username on everything is Stop It Luyama. I talk a lot, and I know I joke about being a yapper, but I actually do talk a lot. And when you talk a lot and you like yap and you make people laugh, when people are laughing, they always say, "Oh, stop, stop," and people always say, "Stop it, Luyama." So that's where this kind of came from. Kind of. The actual origin of the name is from 2019. I used to post a lot on Instagram, and popular comments used to be popular amongst everybody's post would be people putting that fire emoji and stuff. But one popular comment that year was people being like, "Oh, stop it, stop." One of my friends commented, "Stop it, Luyama," and I said, "That's a good username." And I took that, and that has been my username ever since 2019 across all platforms. Yes. So I've split up everything I want to talk about in this episode into 4 categories, but everything here ties together, so it'll be just a very seamless transition between everything. But first thing I want to talk about is that I want to do everything. Like many people, I want to touch everything. And I'm sure you can see this if you follow me on TikTok, because you see me trying TikTok here and I'm trying to do everything on TikTok, and you see me try YouTube there and I'm trying everything on YouTube, and then Instagram some days, and then Twitter, and then now I'm here making a podcast. No platform will be left untouched is basically what I'm trying to say, because I'm doing this right now. This was actually supposed to be a Substack blog. I'm just lazy to type. I'm actually just a very slow typer. But this was supposed to be a Substack blog, and I'm still going to create a Substack blog one day. And I also want to have a magazine one day. But all of this is so I can actually get into radio one day. But I also have so many other things I want to do. But basically, what I'm trying to say is I want to do everything. And I know there's so many people that also want to do everything. A group of people I feel sorry for are my friends and family, because they are sort of forced to support me. So every corner of the internet, every even corner of real life that I decide to expand into, they are forced to support me. This reminds me of 2 years ago when I was doing AS. I did rugby. My mom she wasn't shocked, because I think she's just shocked. She's just used to me just doing everything, and it's so random. But like, she's just used to how I've not yet decided like finally what I'm going to do. So she's just used to me like testing everything. She didn't even comment. She just said, "You know what, be safe." But anyways, with doing everything, I think it's also just satisfying doing everything you want. Like, I was actually a bit scared to do this episode, and then I just thought, okay, but like, I'm actually not losing out on anything. And even if I failed at this, I'd be satisfied knowing I tried. Like, if you don't try something and if you don't fail at it, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. It's always going to be in the back of your mind, and you're just going to be thinking, you know, I could do this. I wanted to do this. I didn't want to think that. I wanted to think, okay, I did this and it worked. Or I did it and it failed. I just wanted to be assured that, okay, I did try what was on my mind. But yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, wanting to do everything. And here I am, doing something about that. If you want to do something, you should probably do it too. I'll be here to support you, because I actually will get to this. It's all about building community, intentions, and commodity. But I'll get to that at the end. So the niche of this podcast, there's no niche. I think this is just going to fall under the category of personal journal, because I sat down and looked at everything I've ever posted online. The first thing I thought is I need a journal, because I don't think everybody needs to hear every single thought I have in my head. But then also I thought there's nothing here. There's nothing here that I can say it surrounds like a specific topic, so I can't really put myself into a box. And also, I've been trying to explain to my mom what I actually post online, and it's hard to describe. I've met in the past week 3 people who watch my TikTok videos and they say, "Oh, I like what you do online, like how you just talk about," and then they always have to pause for 1 second because they're thinking about how to explain it and they just say, "How you talk about anything." So there's actually no niche. So the niche of this, or the category of this podcast, is just gonna fall under personal journals, social commentary. Yeah, social commentary seems fitting for this, and also like a sprinkle of wisdom. But like take that with a grain of salt, because if you look at my life and the things I do, it doesn't make sense that I like to give advice. But if you listen to the advice I give, it's very sensible actually. I need to start pretending my problems are other people's problems and then I give myself advice. But it's a bigger issue. It's a bigger issue and would need another episode of its own for me to actually sit down and talk about my problems. And I really I'd actually love to do that, I don't wanna lie. So now we can just talk about starting everything you want to do. So a couple of people had told me, please start a podcast. But this is when I was actually posting on TikTok. Right now, I think because I've been wanting to do this, I've just been paralyzed from posting on TikTok. So I won't be able to post on that until I get this done with. So now that I'm recording this, thank God I now be able to go back to TikTok now. But I never knew what to talk about on a podcast until I started listening to other podcasts, as in consuming podcasts all the time. So I now in a day I listen to probably 3 podcasts for the past month-ish. This is what's now pushed me to want to make my own podcast. As in, I was already gonna make it, but now it's pushed me to do it. So I've been listening to I Said What I Said. I've been listening to This May Get Uncomfortable, Psychology of Your 20s, Benchtopia, and a few other podcasts. So I never knew what I wanted to make a podcast about, but I knew that a few people would listen if I decided to make a podcast, and I wanted to talk. So I just decided, let me start a podcast. I'll actually figure it out as I go. I think another thing that was hindering me from starting, and something that hinders people from starting, is I wanted to start perfectly. I wanted this to start in a studio. This is very ambitious, I know. I wanted this to all start in a studio, and I wanted someone to put the opportunity in front of me and say, here you go, I'm giving you this opportunity to create your podcast. I'm giving you everything, mics and everything. But I think this is because I'd seen so many other people given the opportunity, like the people who work on the Sky Girls podcast. I was watching that and I knew Lesego. So I saw that and I thought, wow. Surely this can happen to me as well. I didn't compare myself and say didn't compare myself in like a bad way. I just thought, okay, if this can happen for someone that I know, it can surely happen for me. But the unfortunate thing, but also something that's very fortunate, I guess, is that you can open doors for yourself. And I have my little mic that my aunt bought for me. So here I am, opening doors for myself. But if anybody would like to give me a studio, you know what, it's a bit too late now, actually. It's a bit too late. But I'd appreciate that still. I'd like to come in just to actually feel like how it is to be in the studio. But now I'll say one other thing that did stop me from making a podcast, and this is so funny. Every time I decide I'm going to make a podcast, because this is my 3rd time like thinking about it, but it's the furthest I've ever done it, like actually recording it. Every time I think of recording a podcast and creating my podcast and posting it, someone starts a podcast. And I always have to take a step back and say, okay, now I don't want it to look like I'm copying them. But because this has happened again, I just thought, okay, now it means every time I try to start a podcast, someone's going to start a podcast. So let me just start. Because 2 girls I know from primary school started a podcast, and the episode drops tomorrow, actually. I'm recording this on Sunday. The episode drops on Monday, or I think it actually dropped today. It dropped today. That niche is different from what I'm trying to make. So there's no reason for me to be stressing on behalf of someone else that they're going to think that I'm copying them when I know I'm not copying them. This has been something I've been wanting to do. I just procrastinated it. And I always told my friend Tippy that like ideas are like their own person. they're their own thing and like they go to everybody. So you're just a vessel for an idea. I spent too long saying I'm gonna start a podcast. That idea went to someone else and somebody else executed it and they could have executed it better. And here I am be saying, oh, okay, I can't do it. Well, now I'm gonna do it. I don't care if the idea is gone to someone else. I'm just gonna do it myself and I'm gonna enjoy it and enjoy the process. If it works, it works. If it fails, God forbid, hard knock on wood, knock, 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 because it's not gonna fail. I don't even wanna say it's gonna fail. So now finally, because I don't want this episode to be too long, it's only episode 1. I'm going to talk about purpose, intention, community, and commodity. This is like me trying to be profound. Like, actually, let me bring this whole podcast and tie it together with something serious. Like, no, 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 no. I was actually having a huge crisis about this, but let me explain the origin of this crisis. Everything ties back to TikTok in my life. I think I need to actually go outside and touch grass, but let me just tell you the truth. I've been stuck on 2,990 followers, and it's actually lower because I stopped posting now. I've been stuck there, and the number would always get to 99, 2,999, and would fall back down. And I started getting stressed about this because I compare my numbers to other people, like friends or just other people who I thought were producing the same type of things I'm doing. And I think the numbers are just getting so high. There's actually someone playing with my numbers because it just goes up and down, up and down. And this comparison started killing me now. And then I thought about it. I was like, okay, but like, this is how many people we're talking about. And now this is almost 3,000 people we're talking about. That's still a lot of people who are watching you who decided they're going to follow you. And then I realized I'm treating like this large crowd of people who decided to follow me as like a commodity and not like as a community, which is initially why I had started TikTok, because I was just posting what was on my mind and finding more people that were like, oh, real, same. That's what I enjoyed doing on TikTok. Then I started focusing on the number and it didn't ruin everything for me because this only happened like 2 weeks ago. So, okay, a month and a half-ish ago, if I'm being very honest. So I've never really cared for the number. It's just something that happened recently and I had to take a step back. Well, I was paralyzed, so I was forced to take a step back and just think like, okay, what are you actually trying to do here? What's the purpose of your content? What's the intention behind it? And truth is, I just thought, okay, I wanted to find more people who say real. I like what you're saying. I agree with you, to laugh with people. But there was actually not much of like, at the time I didn't understand what I was trying to tell myself, like what the actual intention was. So I continued to sit back and I watched other content creators and I looked at people whose content I enjoy, whose music I enjoy, and whose presence online I just enjoy in general. And there were 2 specific people who I could think about. One is Salome. I hope that's I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I follow her on TikTok. She's and Instagram. She's so cool. She posts about music. She posts about culture in Botswana, is in the culture, subculture of like the music that's coming up right now. And another person who I look up to is like Kilila, the music artist. But I don't mean like I'm trying to make music. I mean I just appreciate her as someone. And between these 2 people, one thing I realized is they really value community because Solomon was talking about interacting with people and yeah, all that jazz is in interacting with everybody she's following and creating this culture and how she feels like she's going to be a creator of culture in the country as well. And I was like, you see, these are people who should actually have mics, not me. But then I said, okay, I'll take my mic and I'll do my little 1-2, my little 1-2 thing as well. But then I thought, you see, I think that's what I had been trying to get at the first time when I was thinking, what am I doing online? I was busy saying I'm trying to find people serial. So I was trying to gather people together who have a similar mindset, I guess, as me. And then we get together online, yes, and then, it's a good time, it's a grand old time. And that's what it's really been because I've been posting since AS and it's really been fun. And even when I meet the people that watch my videos and people whose videos I watch and we follow each other or I follow them, it does feel like coming together of community, of meeting people who are similar to you, like-minded. It's a great time. So I think that's the whole thing that this paralysis had showed me. It's okay, the intention is to create community and is not to look at people as if they're just some numbers and compare myself with other people, because comparison is the Grinch. It's a green thief of joy and it sucked. So, as much as I want this podcast to feel like it's mine, I do want everybody who's watching to feel that it's their podcast as well. So, I want everybody who listens to this to feel free to interact, to send us suggestions, send our questions about anything, send topics even that they'd like me to talk about. I do have a few that I think I'm going to talk about. I still have to think about them a bit more, but I have things I'm going to talk about. But if anybody has anything they would like me to talk about, please feel free. As much as this is mine, it's yours as well. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. Yes, so thank you for listening to episode 001 of Stop It Lulama. Please share the podcast. Like the podcast. I actually do not know the ins and outs of podcasts, but everything you can interact with, whether it's in the podcast, giving it a review, share, subscribe, but the podcast version. If you can do that, I would really appreciate it. And I want to see where this is gonna go. Yeah. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.